Okay, so we've made the bed. Now it's time to finish the shelter around it. We're going to erect some timber and we're going to cover it with some tarps. Well, let's get to it. Stay tuned. Okay, as you can see, we have the bed in place, and now I'm going to build a shelter around it, which is basically a modified lean-to. The only thing I modified really about it is it's going to have sort of a vertical back wall to it, just kind of to facilitate removing some of the snow and not to use up so much of my tarp. Also, to give me some area in the back side of the bed that we made. Okay, now as you can tell, I've taken the rails up on the bed just to facilitate, to help me make this a little bit easier in terms of the construction. So the first thing that I did was I erected, or I should say I lashed the cross pull between two trees. Now I picked these trees at the very beginning, and that helped me orient my bed. Now, why did I pick the trees where I picked them? Well, right now you can't tell, but this, I'm looking at with the camera the direction of the prevailing wind at night, or so I think. So when my fire lays there, the smoke's either going to go to or fro, hopefully not into the shelter. At least it minimizes it. Okay, so then I put the cross pull on. Like I said, they're not permanently attached as of yet. They're just lashed in place so I can make adjustments. Then I put the two tripods in the back here, as you can see, to hold the cross piece and the outside rafter on both sides. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these rafters on. I still have to trim them and lash them, but I wanted to show you, pretty much I cut them oversized and then trim them to fit, because if they lay a certain way, straighter, that's the way I want it. I don't want them to be cupped or concave or whatever. If anything, if they can lay bowed up, that's even better. But so we're going to get to the rest of this. Let me get to lashing these and we'll get back to you in a minute. You want to sort of imagine how the tarp is going to lay on top of this, because you certainly don't want any rough edges to be poking through your tarp. So make sure you take an axe and trim these up as you're doing your finish work before you put your tarp on. Can you tell I'm not wearing my glasses? All right, so I went ahead and ran some birch stringers in between the rafters, and I alternated them up, down, thick, thin, all the way up, just to keep things, I don't know, balanced, I guess. Just seemed like the right thing to do. Now I'm just going to go back and trim some of the longer pieces off. I've already trimmed the ends of the rafters off. And I ran into a complication too that I'm going to have to fix today, so I'm going to show you that. As I told you before in the video, I used a tripod structure to support the outside rafters and the back ridge pole across the back of the roof, and it's not working out like I had hoped for a couple of different reasons. One, it doesn't seem tall enough, so that's my fault. And two, it just didn't seem stable enough. So what I did was, on the other side, I've already removed the other one, and in its place I put a new and improved kind of forked stick. This one's made out of chestnut that was dead. We have some American chestnut. They don't seem to grow more than a couple of years. But this is about 2-inch diameter, nice fork at the top. It's pretty solid. And I've raised it up in the back another 6 inches, which will give me more room, more headroom when I'm lying in the bed on that, especially in the back there. So I'm going to go ahead and put a similar stick on the other side, trim everything else, and then I'll put the tarp on. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, so I figured I'd give you just a quick view of what it looks like with one tarp on. This is I believe it's a 10 by 12 camo 3 or 4 mil tarp. You can buy it at Walmart or you can buy it at Lowe's or whatever. You can basically cover about 80% of it. Actually less than that, about 60% of it. But I'll show you why that's a good thing. Hang on a second and I'll bring you around to the side. So as you can see, this is the right side facing the fire. I did kind of a wraparound hospital corner, if you will, with the tarp. And I staked it down into the snow. At some point I'm going to get my snow shovel up here and backfill snow up against the bottom of this, because you can see there's a few gaps in it, but not bad. It came out just about right. So I've got some of the birch cross members that I repurposed some of the tops for stakes just to hold them down into the tarp down in the snow in the back. Okay, and that's the back. It's pretty smooth. It's got one wrinkle in it. I'm going to work that out. But so I have the top covered with it, the back is fully covered with it, and one side is about 90% covered with it. So we're going to walk around the other side. Okay, so and then this is the end. This is the end that I propose is going to be the door. And as you can see, I just tied it off to the rafter, the outside edge, and to the top rafter. So it's got that ridge that it's all tied to, this side that it's all tied to. Tied it off in the end. You can kind of see the space now in the back, but that'll be all closed off with snow. And then the end of the bed. So this will be the entrance. I'll end up taking a plastic sheet. I think it's a 20 by 25. I'm going to have to do some quick math back at the house because I don't want too much excess. But that's going to have to be flush down in the front and wrap around this side, which will be the door. All right, so that's what it's going to look like so far. I'll give you another quick look at it when the clear plastic is put on. One of the other cool things that I like about all of those birch twigs that I used as cross pieces, I think I'm going to be able to use those as a way to hold up my solar blanket or my reflector without using any tape or string or anything like that. So I just want to make a note of that at this point. All right, I hope you can read this. I don't know if you can or not, but this is a HDX 10 by 20 foot plastic drop cloth. It's only 1 mil, which I'm a little concerned with in terms of sparks, etc., but we're going to make do. If anything, it'll be easily to replace if it doesn't work. So what I did was I took the roll of plastic and I unrolled it. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a piece that's going to be my front width. Don't forget, now this shelter is supposed to be temporary. When we're making a shelter like this, you're just trying to get out of the elements and get warm, get some sleep, and kind of, just protect yourself and survive. This shelter is going to be more on the order of a longer term shelter. I want to be able to come out here and sleep at night during the winter if I want to. So things like the raised beds could be, could have been shorter. This might not have had to been so complicated, etc. But again, I'm looking more for a permanent shelter for at least the winter. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and cover the front and get right back to you. Now it rained the other night, so that's the only reason it's staying up there. It's just, you know, the capillary action of the water is making it a little sticky since it's very thin. It's almost like tissue paper. So, but I wanted to just put it up there just to show you sort of where we're going with it. What I'm trying to do here is I want to use it to basically use it like a roll. I'm going to roll back the plastic on it and then tie the pole to the ridge. Now the only thing I would say is if you're going to tie these up here, you have to leave enough bare pole on the end. I don't know if you can see it, maybe I'm better on this side, where the plastic stops here and you still have some pole. All right, so you have a, I'm going to just walk you around a little bit so you have an idea of what's going on here. So I have this 1 mil piece of plastic, and I took a pole. You don't need to use a large one. I think smaller is actually better, but the right length. And I back rolled the top of the sheet on it. All right, so I kind of wanted to make sure that I didn't do it in such a way where the rain was going to get to it and go down the front. So it rolls up over this way and tucks under obviously this way. All right, so that's that one. And right now it's just leaning up against this stick here, which, you know, I could probably end up moving that at some point. And then up on the other end against the tree. And then on the bottom I have another pole that's rolled the other way to keep the front taut. And that's where your radiation's really gonna pay off, okay? So I'm gonna plug up the other holes and we'll get back to it. All right, so we're gonna do a quick walk around because my battery's dying. So there's the front sheets on. We already talked about that. I'm gonna walk around here on the side and show you the other side. That's the last bit of the plastic I had, and I back rolled it semi on the bottom. And this is gonna be basically my door here and vent, okay? And so we're all set and ready to go. Now the whole idea of this is sort of a greenhouse effect where the radiation from the fire gets in and stays in. So make sure you stay tuned for part 3, where I'm gonna sleep in this and make some observations about it, etc. Show you how to build a fire and whatever. So thanks for watching. Hope you liked it. If you did, hit the like button and be sure to subscribe. Hit the subscribe button if you want to see the next part and other videos that we do. And until then, take care. Bye-bye.